All right, we are back with the UFC Fight Night 55 weigh-in show. Ketlen Vieira just weighed in 136. How you doing today, guys? Yeah, looks great.
Second,
a little less.
Tender Holly Holm.
Jeez,
Holly Holm
so
looks
damn ripped.
peeled.
Always.
She is strong as hell.
Yeah.
No kidney issues anymore.
Wow.
Official weight for Holly Holm, 135.5. Your UFC Fight Night main event is official.
The kidney issues in the past, weight cuts got to be a little easier.
All right, moving on now to the featherweight division.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, the Dream Chase Hooper.
Oh, Jesus, he looks skinny.
He is ridiculous.
He looks like fucking scrawny arms Rob Lowe.
Yeah, from that commercial, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
145 for Chase Hooper.
Oh.
Do I see a full?
I don't know why
I
this kid's in
think
the
I see a full hip bone. I can see the full
Yeah,
you can see
three-dimensional hip bone.
the
All right, moving on now to the UFC
anterior
strawweight
pelvis.
division as we welcome Elise Reed.
Elise Reed from Princeton, New Jersey. Let's go, Elise.
Official weight
Yeah, that-
115 for Elise.
That quick turnaround for Sam Hughes, I don't know about that choice.
Yeah. What do you think she walks around at?
All right, next fighter to the scale.
Probably not much too heavy.
Lightweight division, Omar Morales.
Omar looks ripped, always in great shape.
Always, yeah. He looked so bad in his last fight, though. I couldn't believe that.
I'm not sure what it is with him.
Official weight 155.5 for Omar Morales.
I feel like he needs to let his hands go and
Yeah.
just
All right, next
go
fighter
for
to
it
the
sometimes, you know?
main Card in the UFC strawweight division, Polyana Viana.
Polyana.
Viana. Wow, she's strutting her stuff to the scale.
Oh, the fucking Jason tattoo right in the cleavage.
Holy shit, dude. I've never seen that before.
Viana.
I saw it.
I haven't either.
I saw it. Somebody posted that yesterday on Twitter, and everyone was freaking out about it. They're like, "What is her name?"
Featherweight division, Felipe Colares.
Felipe moving up a weight class
Yeah.
for this fight. Coolest neck tat in the game, by the way.
Pretty dope, right? Pretty cool. I saw that. I think someone posted that. Maybe you, Kyle.
The eagle.
Did you post that?
It was
yeah,
me.
dude. That's pretty gnarly. They got some rocket ships on his chest too. What's going on?
145.
The claws, the eagle claws.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I couldn't see that when they zoomed in.
I don't like the claws as much as I
No.
like the eagle on the neck.
The claw seems like a good idea, but it looks like two rocket ships though.
No, the claws.
Yeah.
The claws were big back in I remember seeing a bunch of dudes with fucking claw marks on their arm in at walking around with their tank tops on at Six Flags when I was 14. With usually they were the claw marks were fucking red, white, and green for the eye towels.
85.5, the official weight for Jun Yong Park.
Park next to Anders is going to be a funny matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure what to make.
Different body styles.
Oh yeah.
To the scale in the UFC's middleweight division, Joseph Holmes.
All right. Holmes going with the John Morant hairstyle, color it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Little flare.
I was so high on this guy in his last fight, and that came crashing and burning.
185, the official weight for Joseph Holmes.
Jamie Pickett.
Yeah, I underestimated the veteran, and I overestimated what this kid's capable of. He's only 26, right? Holmes, he's young.
He's young. Yeah.
The co-main event competing in the UFC's welterweight division, Michel Pereira.
Okay.
Always huge.
Yeah.
He has some DUI investigation
Oh,
going on.
really?
Yep.
I mean, he must do something to keep the edge off because this guy,
Yeah.
he's wired.
70, the official weight for Michel Pereira.
How does he make 170? It makes no sense.
They're sucking all the
he's
blood out
huge.
with all those cups on his back.
Yeah.
He's cupped all the liquid out.
Welcome, Tabatha Ricci.
I like Tabatha in this fight. I think she's
I do
gonna
too.
just simply manhandle her, for lack of better words.
Look, she looks jacked.
Wow, she looks good. That right arm was just serious there.
Yeah, she looks jacked.
Got a matchup of actually two fairly attractive girls in this fight.
Think she's been living primal?
Yeah.
Fucking teeth.
What is this?
Doesn't brush him.
No, her too
Oh, she got-
snigless.
She looks good. She looks good. Oh my God, what a terrible first name, by the way.
He just looks like a goofball. Dude.
Yeah.
Man, he holds
Nice.
his head up high anyway. Like his chin is always up high, and then he's got this giraffe neck, and it just exemplifies
Yeah,
all
he
of it.
does.
Just makes it so much worse.
His head is massive
Yeah.
too. Look at how big his head
Oh
is.
my God, yeah. I like the guy. It probably sounds like I don't like him. I do like him, but it just the technique is rough, and then he's physically built
And his opponent in that feature,
not good for
Yeah.
that.
85 pounds, Chidi.
He's-
I think he's got the grappling edge in that fight.
He does.
though.
He does. If he gets the fight to the ground, he has a huge advantage, and he
Yeah,
can stay away from getting chin checked too. You know.
right. I wasn't impressed with Chidi in Bellator at all.
Yeah, he had a rough run. I heard a whole story. Was it Cody Safdie?
185, the official weight for Chidi and Njokuani.
I think Cody up on that Dog or Pass show was talking about him and just kind of went through a whole background of how he lost interest at that time. And
Next player to the scale, competing in the co-main event, 14th ranked in the UFC's welterweight division, Santiago
See,
Ponzinibbio.
Ponzinibbio looks like he's about half the size of Pereira.
yeah, right.
They're listed at the same height and weight.
Yeah, he looks.
Pons is a warrior, though.
Yeah, man. He's always ready, dude.
170 and a half, the official weight for Santiago Ponzinibbio.
I love how the narrative is Brazilian versus Brazilian, and Ponzinibbio's Argentinian.
Yeah.
It's more like two South Americans.
He's
Right.
the Caballero.
His story was crazy. I believe if I got it right, he moved to Brazil as
As
early
a goof.
20s and lived on the beach in a tent
Yeah.
to try to train because they had not enough gyms back in Argentina, so kind of really roughed it.
But yeah, Pereira, he's got an interesting story going on right now. He's being investigated for DUI,
Okay.
and he claims this is what he claims. He was in the passenger seat, and his buddy crashed the car without him knowing because he was passed out in the passenger seat. Then asked Pereira to drive the car home because he crashed. So he's like, "Could you drive?"
Okay. Okay.
Pereira gets in the car to drive home, gets pulled over because he's in a crashed car,
Oh my god.
and claims he didn't know that they were crashed, and blew. He said he blew on the dot, right over.
Blue
You got arrested for
.24
doing that.
on the dot.
Yeah. So,
It sounds like a logical
So
story. That sounds like
that's a
about
story.
right.
yeah.
Jesus.
I was passed out.
It did happen a long time ago, at least. So
Okay.
shouldn't affect this fight at all. It's not recent. So
Couple too many Tanqueray and tonics.
yeah.
Was this back in his home country of Brazil?
No, this was in Las Vegas.
Oh, I was going to say if it was in Brazil, maybe just throw a few bucks at somebody, you'll be okay. But
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, this is Las Vegas. And then back to Colares, moving up in weight. And then I saw an interview with Hooper, and I don't know, this is a horrible decision if Hooper does this, but he's saying he wants to move to lightweight.
Will get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
He can't.
I mean, you can't be
He's getting.
see-through at lightweight.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's getting manhandled by guys who are 145 pounds.
Yeah. I don't know what the direct.
I think he's
I don't know what the direction that kid's gonna head because he's very young, so he's got the whole young and has room to grow. but man, his striking is it's just so below where he needs to be at this point.
It's very weak.
Yeah.
And he's not strong enough to pull some of these submissions off.
Well, he just lost a grappling bout against Moicano, right? Who he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good BJJ artist, but
Moicano, yeah, he's a beast.
But fucking Hooper, that's all he hangs his hat on is the BJJ.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude, you can't even win grappling bouts.
Yeah.
And I think he knows all the techniques perfect. He just doesn't have the strength to do it.
Yes.
Got to start living primal.
I saw an interview with Colares. Was something I like to hear. He was like, I'm going to be better on top. He was like, I'm going to be stronger and better on top than Hooper. I think that's where, and he did mention the striking as well because
I mean, even if like he wound up and took his hardest punch and he actually hit somebody, what would that do? Like he just doesn't.
Right.
He probably doesn't hit as hard as Holly Holm.
Yeah. No, I mean
that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean she
could Holly Holm beat up Chase Hooper?
Now we're on to something. She could knock him out with a head kick.
She might be able to.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because at 22, I'm sure his coaches are telling him, you got room to grow and whatever else, but it seems like there's a ceiling there on what this kid can do.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't come off to me as an amazing jiu-jitsu guy either. Like he's good at it. But like you said, he lacks the power aspect. He lacks the strength to actually like 18%, I think was his takedown efficiency. 18% of the time he gets a takedown when he tries it.
He sucks at takedowns. Yeah.
I mean, so how do you get the fight in the ground then? If you can't punch anybody, you can't hurt somebody, you can't knock him down. I like the kid at 22. I feel as if this MMA thing may be a fleeting career choice and maybe going into just jiu-jitsu as a full-time thing because I just don't see it happening for him.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think he might be bounced from the UFC after this fight.
He was they were pumping him in 2019 as like the next thing. Back when he was like 18, 19. He might have been 18.
The whole Ben Askren's son thing.
Yeah, you heard about this, right? Living with him and stuff. And I
didn't know they were actually living together.
I heard this. Where did I hear that from? I don't know what channel was talking about this, but
I believe
they were doing something like that. But yeah, they were pumping him up. That's the bottom line. The UFC has wanted this kid to do well. They've been invested in him doing well. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know where he goes. Maybe he goes like to Bellator, another promotion, because he rides the UFC name for a little bit. But unless he puts on some damn weight or maybe some man muscle, right? He needs some man strength.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Holly Holm returned after 19 months.
That's right.
And did you hear about the kidney disease that she had?
I didn't hear this until you mentioned it. I heard about some injuries, but can you elaborate on that? What was this about?
Yeah. So she got diagnosed with, I'm going to probably butcher this, hydronephrosis.
Okay.
It's a disorder that causes swelling in the kidneys, which can lead to severe pain, nausea, fever, and urinary issues.
Wow.
She said she didn't know she had it, and she's had it for forever, like a long time.
Jeez.
And she's like, I always knew I had like bad weight cuts, but, just thought it was how I am. Now she found out she actually had a problem.
Yeah.
Got it taken care of. And she's like, I feel at 40, she's like, I feel great, better than I ever have.
Yeah, well, she's got working kidneys now.
Right.
And those weight cuts are tough in the kidneys usually. So, wow,
they are the worst thing for them.
Yeah, right. To say like there's this dehydration aspect and like you're starving yourself. I mean that's good news. I think at 40 years old she looks amazing. Doesn't show any signs.
Her last fight she maybe looked the best she's ever looked.
Yeah. There's definitely not a lack of preparation from her standpoint. She is coming in here prepared. I wonder if she gets another shot at it. I wonder if she gets another shot at a title. What do you think? Another shot for her at some point?
I think she does. Yeah. She said she's hoping after this fight. But who knows?
She still carries a name. She still carries some weight. So I think, from the box office standpoint, people still remember her knocking out Ronda Rousey,
And you could play that clip in any promo, it's perfect.
Yeah, that was Ronda's first loss. Well, that changed the whole direction of her MMA career.
Oh, my God. What a fall.
She was a plus 830 underdog that night, Holly Holmes. Plus 830, dude.
I remember
knockout.
that was I think Diaz versus McGregor on that card as well.
Was it?
Yes, because I parlayed both of them as like huge dogs.
And that was being held down in Australia, if memory serves me correct. It was like a 56,000 person crowd, just mayhem.
So who hasn't weighed in? Let's do an update.
Parker Porter sure has not. Almeida.
Well, that was Porter right there with that blue shirt for a second.
Almeida has not weighed in. He could weigh in whenever he wants. He's probably not even at the venue yet.
What are your thoughts on the Almeida fight? What do you guys think about that fight?
I think Almeida destroys Parker Porter.
Almeida is down to minus 600.
Yeah.
I'm a Almeida guy.
UFC appearance in the UFC's bantamweight division, Jonathan Martinez.
I'm high on Martinez too.
Yeah.
Do you guys like him?
I do like him, but Morales is a tough cookie, and
he is.
I think Martinez wins. I think Martinez wins the fight, but the money line's a little off there. Should be a little closer to a pick 'em.
Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah, I could see that. It opened up closer.
It did, and I like Martinez.
Yeah.
I think he just carries a more notable name, has a better fighting style on the feet. But Morales is a good wrestler. You know, he doesn't do anything amazing, but he makes things ugly. You know, and that's all you need sometimes in a scorecards.
He does, and he's got some power. And Martinez has been cracked before.
Yeah.
I just like everything Martinez does. Like you were saying on the feet, love Martinez on the feet, and then he's got some great takedown defense.
Yep. Very
hips.
technically sound. He's much more technically sound than Morales. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Hughes? Any chance here's a dog?
I think she's got a shot. Yeah, I put a little bet on her. I don't love the quick turnaround though. Even though she looks shredded, she looks good.
Yeah, they both fought already this year, so two very active ladies.
Yeah. I think it's a close fight.
It is. I feel like this fight's similar to the last fight for Hughes, where she came in as a slight dog. The Nunes girl, who was maybe making her debut in the UFC, I'm not sure, but
yeah, Stella.
Yeah, people were very high on her, and I just thought, well, you know, Hughes has got a little bit of experience, and she made it ugly. And I think she does that in this matchup. I think she's going to make it a little bit ugly. And, you know, at this point, it comes down to control position, right? How do a judge sees a card or see a round, you know? I think Elise Reed's got some potential, but I just don't know what she's about yet. The book's still open on this girl, and I'm not really sure what we're going to get from her.
Yeah, I don't know about her takedown defense either.
Yeah. She's she's qualified from the standpoint that she had a good amateur career, fought some decent competition. I mean, she's like a veteran, right? She did some service, military service, very well respected, you know, overall fighter. But I don't know yet. And the Eubanks fight was not a good test because she was so overmatched.
She got smoked.
Yeah, her eye was huge after that fight, and you know, Yujara Eubanks is the kind of fighter where when she looks bad, but then she has moments when she looks good, and in that fight, she looked good. Then the McKenna fight threw me for a loop because I bet on McKenna in that fight.
So did I.
And it was a split decision win for Elise Reed. Do you remember that fight? Do you remember your opinion? Did she win that fight, or do you think McKenna won that fight?
I remember, I think it was one of those, couldn't call it a robbery, but I thought McKenna won.
Stuck at the handpin, but I'm worse
That's
at sleeping.
sort of how I remember it
No
too.
caffeine, the mud water rest plan combines Rooibos masala chai with turmeric.
Yeah, you know, so I'm looking at this as I'm saying to myself, at minus 150 to minus 160 for Elise Reed coming into a fight as a favorite, and I'm like, against Hughes is not garbage. Right, so just can't. No. I think that's recency bias because she could have clearly lost that fight. Had she lost the fight against McKenna, she'd be 0-2 in the UFC, and she wouldn't be a favorite in this matchup.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think Elise Reed.
On that.
I've heard some good things about Elise Reed. When you watch her like lower level promotion, her CFFC fights, I believe, she does a pretty good job there. You know, I don't. As a favorite, I don't get it yet. Just don't get it. Can't get me there.
Yeah, I'm ready to watch Jailton fight. He's like one of the guys I'm highest on in the UFC right now. Oh, here's Vince Morales.
We've got two Morales last names in this card, right? Omar and Vince.
He looks
130. Oh, 136.
Looks a little sunken in there.
He does. He looked a little nervous too, but maybe that's just the way he looks. I don't know. If I was fighting
Almeida,
talk to me about Almeida because I have this. I got a theory. I am a little scared of this. So talk to me, man. Talk me into a bet where I could parlay him.
Okay. So Almeida, he wanted this fight because he wanted to stay active, right? So he said if there's opportunities that make sense at heavyweight, he's going to be there for it. He does want to go back to 205.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he's a lot happier this week, not cutting weight. He said he's been sleeping well, so there's a bunch of factors that are good, not having to cut weight.
Right.
And then he reiterated for this fight that everybody knows I'm such a fan of Khabib and Chimaev. And he said, I try to emulate their style, but who knows, maybe I could end up being like Francis Ngannou.
I believe it.
He said I was a boxer first. And he said that he's not scared of Parker Porter's striking, which is a little scary because Parker Porter's a decent boxer.
He can bang, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got power.
Yeah, but I just see Almeida. People are saying he's going to struggle with the takedowns, and I don't see why they're saying that other than a weight discrepancy, which to me is not a non-factor. Almeida's technique and takedowns is so good. He transitions just like Khabib from takedown to takedown. Parker Porter's not going to be able to deal with it. He's going to be on his back, and he's going to be on his back early in the fight, I think.
Anders looks great.
Another one. How does he make that weight?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, right? I mean, how tall is he? Like 6'2" or some shit? Like
I think he's 6'2".
Yeah.
Big ass dude for these divisions. It's amazing.
He's huge.
So here's my thing on Almeida, because some of what you said I agree 100% with. When you look at the Dana White Contender Series fight against Nassourdinov, he wins the grappling exchanges, and he overpowers a Russian wrestler type. You know what I mean? Like a prototypical wrestler. Remember one time in that fight, he gets sort of reversed on a takedown, but then he reverses position, gets back on top. He just showed very good wrestling skills. So I agree with you. I think if it comes down to technique-wise, he probably can get Porter down. But here's my scary scenario. He tries to get Porter down and just simply gets a smidget off balance, and Porter just falls on him.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about possibly a 50-pound weight difference.
I don't think it'll be 50 pounds. I bet you Almeida walks around at 220.
But is Parker Porter cutting to 260?
Porker, I just called
Porker,
him.
yeah. Porter.
Porter definitely cuts a few pounds to come down under 265, but didn't Almeida come in at 203 in like two?
He did, but he talked about that a little bit, and It was a weight cut accident by him. He cut too much.
Okay.
It wasn't he didn't cut.
I wonder if we should have an over-under on what the weight difference will be for this matchup. If it's somewhere around 25 to 30 pounds, that won't be a big deal, I don't believe. But if we start getting upwards around 40 pounds or 45 pounds, I think there's going to be a bit of a problem.
I hear you. I just think the skill difference is wide enough where I'm not nervous about the weight.
Whoa.
Almeida by sub.
Who knows?
Almeida by sub is minus 110.
Yeah,
Wow.
I took the TKO prop because Almeida throws bombs.
Yeah. Well, that's
Ground
even
and pound
better.
wise.
That's plus 225.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up taking.
Let me see. I had a prop here I looked at for that fight. The finish prop of any kind of finish from Almeida is minus 225. That's one thing that I was looking at. I mean, he should win the fight. I just get worried about, fucking just bad luck. Like somehow Porter falls on this dude, and then he's laying on him, and Almeida is doing all the right things, but then just cannot get out from this big blob. And then maybe he gets tired. like gasses himself out, comes out in round 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm fishing for scenarios that.
No, I get it because Almeida is, for as good as he's looked, he's got one fight in the UFC. So there's questions.
And he has that physique, right? Doesn't he have that physique that kind of gives you that like Mike gas out physique?
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
The Yoel Romero, but somehow Romero never gets tired just because he's a machine.
I mean, not that Mr. Porter deserves to be compared to Jan Blachowicz, but this is like the Blachowicz versus Adesanya fight, where coming into the fight, many of us were like, Adesanya, striking skills, Adesanya. And then he just can't get off the ground for 3 rounds.
Right. But he had a wrestling disadvantage in that fight going up a weight class.
Good point. So 2 combinations, right? This is not a situation where he's got a wrestling disadvantage. It's just a weight disadvantage. That's a good point.
Right.
You have to be a member.
I would love to see Almeida come in at like 245. I think that'd be hilarious. He's just fucking thick as hell. That's
would be that would be scary. That would be a scary man.
That would.
That's like when William Knight and and what the fuck?
Was it Alonzo Menefield?
No, it was he just fought.
They fought too.
Was it Eric Anders? No. Anders Erickson. No.
You're talking about William Knight's last fight at heavyweight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he fought.
He came in.
He came in at 255.
He fought the guy from South Dakota.
Oh, Devin Clark.
Yes, Devin Clark and Devin Clark's
Brown Bear.
Yes, Mr. Brown Bear.
Clark came in at 210.
We were all over Devin Clark.
Yeah.
In that fight.
Yeah, he came in looking pretty good. But William Knight, doesn't he have not to poke fun, but he has a past or a history of having weight problems like before the UFC, and it seems to me like he's eating himself into this division.
What the doctors call a little bit of a weight problem.
Yes. Can't wait to eat.
Yeah.
What's up, Eryk?
Jeez.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
What's up, brother?
What's up?
I'm straight from the gym, still sweating and everything. So you're getting the real thing here.
What's up?
Love it.
How's it going so far? Who's come out so far?
We've had a bunch. Holly Holm and Ketlen Vieira were the first 2. Both look good.
Cool.
Holly Holm is jacked as always.
Yeah.
Should look at 8-pack.
We've had Ponzinibbio and Pereira both made weight. Chidi and Duško, Viana and Ricci. We've had no misses yet.
Okay, cool.
Anders weighed in. He's always, questionable just because how massive he is.
Right.
Made easy. We're waiting on Amedovski, Almeida, Parker Porter, Medić, and that's it.
Yeah, we saw.
We have not seen Uroš.
No.
Chase Hooper came out looking like Gumby.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen the other Morales yet, right?
No, we have. We've seen both of them.
We did. We saw Vince and Omar.
Okay.
Vince had the nervous look on his face, and Omar looked
yeah,
incredibly jacked as always. He used to let go of his hands.
But I don't think we're Jailton or Parker Porter is going to be in jeopardy of missing weight.
By the way,
Amedovski hasn't fought in years, so he probably is.
Parker Porter by decision is plus 1,600 and worth a waste of money. That's all I'm saying.
I just can't do it. I don't
just do it for me, dude.
I might sprinkle that.
Throw $10, $10 on it. Because look, he ends up
don't
getting
let
that.
MMA Twitter influence you.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, look, $10. It's like a donation. It's your donation to the Parker Porter Fund.
I'm not doing it. I'll waste my $10 somewhere else.
I know, right? That's like a two gallons of gas nowadays.
Jesus.
I'll tell you what. I think Porter has a slim chance to do something special, but the reality is that Jailton Almeida, he's got to beat almost every. Another weird thing though is Jailton Almeida is 7 years older. Such a weird thing. He looks like
that's interesting.
He looks like he's like doesn't Porter look older than him?
Well, it's
Porter
the
looks older.
lifestyle.
Oh no, Porter is older.
Wait, time out.
Porter's
My
37.
bad.
Almeida's
I
30.
had the numbers flipped
Other
here
way,
on my...
you flip flopped it.
Jesus, thank you for correcting me. I had it flipped on my Excel sheet. Get it together over here.
Oh, wow. And look at this. Almeida also has a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight.
I mean, he's a freak.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he should move down to 205, though, and stay there because his future at 205 is limitless.
Oh, yeah.
This thing with the heavyweight division, it's like they have no heavyweights, right? So they kind of go picking at guys to, like, fill in, and it is what it is. I just think he's not wasting his time. It'd be a good win for him to come up to the heavyweight division, notch a win, and go back down. But I feel like at the light heavyweight is where his real money's going to be made.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the Almeida fight, Eryk?
Porter
I think that's actually one of the fights that I'm most excited about on this card, just because it's so weird. You know, I love weird fights like that. And I mean, the sort of classic breakdown seems to be that Almeida is just going to come out and smoke him in the first round. And I don't think that's unlikely. I think that is pretty likely, but I think it gets really interesting if that doesn't happen.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. I'm just concerned about something weird happening where Porter somehow lands on top position, and that's like some kind of a scramble, and then how much weight is the difference? We're going to find out here soon, but how much actual difference in weight will these two guys have?
Yeah.
And what I keep thinking is that, even with all of Almeida's skill, like he's probably not going to be accustomed to just dealing with a body type like that. I mean, even trying to, trying to like get in on the hips and like clasp your hands around Parker Porter. Can you even clasp your hands around that guy? That's just the body.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like he picked up Marquez in his last fight. He picks up Marquez and throws him to the ground. Amazing control, great throw by Almeida. And I'm thinking like he's never going to be able to pick up Parker Porter.
Oh, yeah,
but who knows?
Could you imagine he does?
And then he slams him. Oh,
Right.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Walks him across the octagon and drops him in his corner.
That would be amazing. I mean,
God, I hope so.
He's a strong dude. I guess I shouldn't question him. I just feel like if he wins the fight, it's probably early, right? It's probably round 1. I think it gets to round 3, and then it's going to just be like all bets are off. If it happens to get to that far.
Yeah, I really hope it goes long.
I just love how Jailton says, he looks up to Khabib and Khamzat, and a guy with Jailton's athleticism who's trying to fight that style is an issue.
Yeah,
he's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. How did he even lose a fight? I'll get tap out. Yeah, the 2 losses. Like, who did he lose against? Like Superman and Rambo?
He might have been green. He might have been really.
That's pretty
green.
early on, huh? Probably.
Yeah. I like him a lot. I feel like he's one of those names that's going to be exploding on the scene this year into next year. Just a lot of possibilities for him.
For sure.
And at 30 years old, not 37, he's got a bright future.
Yeah.
No doubt. That was a good season of Dana White Contender Series. There were quite a few fighters that had potential on that season.
I started following that series hardcore last year, and it's dope. Just it's a good setup. It's a great way to find new talent.
It's cool, yeah.
I don't love the decision making of how the contracts are sort of arbitrarily given out, and I get it. Dana White is the boss, but it just comes off as like when Donald Trump was running that show on this Apprentice, right? Like, you're fired or you're hired, or I'm the king. And I know Dana's in charge, but it's like I wish there was more of an actual measurement where we could say if the guy does this or that, he gets a contract, because at times he just kind of just does whatever he wants.
It seems like it's just whatever mood Dana's in that day or something. Or it's almost like he decides before the show, like, I'm going to sign 3 guys today, or like, it's completely, it seems random.
He one time said something like, well, this guy came in as a big underdog. And I'm like, are you referencing the money line now as part of your rationale for why you're going to give a guy a contract? Like,
I had this guy tied in on a parlay. He's getting a contract.
He busted a parlay for me, so I'm not signing it.
Yeah.
Right. Screw that guy.
Or he took the two fighters, I forgot their names. He gave the one guy a contract, even though he lost because he disagreed with the judges. And it's just like, yo, dude, King Dana. But I like the show, though. I like the format. It's another avenue for these guys to get their way in the UFC.
For sure.
I
How do you guys feel about the Joseph Holmes Amedovski fight?
I think that's
a question mark.
Yeah, I think that's a fun fight too, just because the size difference is so massive there. I think it's like 6 inches of height and 6 inches of reach, and I don't, skill wise, I don't think either guy is super high level, but that size difference is really gonna come into play potentially. I think, and I mean, I pretty much agree with the money line. Joseph Holmes is a kind of a tough guy to trust overall, but I think he's got the advantages all around for the most part.
I agree. I
have no idea what to think for that fight.
I agree. I think watching film on Amedovski, a guy who hasn't fought since 2019, 3 years, and didn't look good, lost his last 2 fights, I believe, got knocked out in 14 seconds his last fight? That's not the recipe for success. 17, still. My bad. And got clipped like 3 times in that 17 seconds, by the way. Yeah, and look, you can't just do the last fight. It's not one fight. But the reality is, I think that this is a good setup fight for Holmes, who was underwhelming last time against Pickett, and I was all over him in that fight. I had a lot to say about Holmes and how he's going to win and this and that. He ends up crashing a bunch of my parlays, but this is a good matchup for him. I think he comes out on top. I think he finishes the fight, actually. I don't think the fight goes the full distance.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Amedovski's not good.
I like that.
He's not good.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Now, could he come in here after
Uroš Medić?
Oh, well. Just one more thought on that. 3-year layoff. Could he come in here after maybe being in some kind of Russian quarantine for 3 years and got better? Yeah.
I think he trains with Khamzat and all those guys.
Don't fuck with me. Are you serious?
I think so.
Amedovski?
Yeah, Amedovski does.
So at least he's rubbing elbows.
He
with
trains with
guys.
Khamzat and Darren Till.
Yeah.
Darren Till.
So do they go three-way handhold?
Yeah, I was gonna just start getting into this. Yeah, circle jerk over there. These guys, oh my god.
No, Amedovski definitely gets.
They definitely don't let him hold his hand, dude.
He's not in the Instagram pictures when they're hanging out wearing matching suits.
They fucking crop him out.
They make him take the picture.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. What were you saying though, Kyle? You had another fight you were bringing up, buddy.
Uroš. What do you guys think of him? He's like another question mark for me.
Well, I'm gonna take a phrase from Cody Safdie and those guys at Dogger Pass and tell you that friends don't let friends. You don't bet on guys from the Alaska regional scene. It's just never a good recipe. Uroš Medić, he goes by Dr. Medić? Medic.
Dr. Medic. That's Dr. Medic to you.
Yeah. I don't know. I find him to be he's all balls to the wall. He's a round 1, round 2 finish kind of guy. I believe all his finishes are round 1 and round 2. All of his fights. Including when he loses.
Yep.
So, if he tries that nonsense with Omar Morales, he's going to come up against a guy who's got enough veteran savvy to avoid things for at least the first round. And I think Medić will then start exposing himself, making some mistakes. He's not going to finish Morales. That's not going to happen. Morales has enough survival skills. Granted, he just came off of a finish by loss, or he just lost by finish himself. But I think it's enough here to go the full distance with Medić.
I can see that. I just don't know. After Morales' last fight, he really looked like shit.
He did. He did. Got it. He didn't look good. They're both coming off of losses where they got finished, so they got some stuff to prove. The fight starting round 2. By the way, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's potentially interesting for the reasons that you mentioned, Manny. That we literally don't have any idea what does round 3 or even late round 2 Uroš Medić look like. We don't know,
right?
So it's never really safe to assume that one of those round 1 fighters completely falls apart late. But just with the way he fights, I think it's reasonable to think he probably does, because he puts everything into everything. You can't do that
immediately.
Yeah, he lands something like 10.5 strikes per minute. It's like you can't sustain that kind of a rate. That just
that's a lot.
Work.
No.
That's a lot, even if you're not putting a ton on him.
Exactly.
He clearly does.
Mm-hmm.
The fight starts round 2 is at minus 250. It's one of the props in this fight that I like a lot. I do believe it gets to round 2. So Medić does come out and does what Medić does and pours on a bunch of volume and tries to get Omar out of there. Omar circles, avoids, survives. We start round 2. I like that prop.
I like that. I like a lot of the unders and overs this week.
Unders and overs.
I usually avoid those lines in general, but I like Chidi and Duško. I don't think that goes past 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, good call.
Holmes and Amedovski, I think that goes under 2.5 rounds.
Yep.
I think
pretty confidently, both of those.
Anders and the Iron Turtle, I think, goes to the judges.
I like that one as well, going to distance at minus 175. It's not a bad spot, but Eryk Anders has a way of being plotting, and Park has a way of being safe, and that could be a combined waste of a lot of time.
It's true.
You know, Park got stung by Rodriguez, but that's because he made the decision to trade with Rodriguez. It's a bad decision. But overall, pretty smart fighter, though.
He was messing Rodriguez up in that fight, though.
Rodriguez was about to gas out and get knocked out. They were both about to happen. If you remember that fight, he was just, oh man, he's got that physique again, that type of physique that these guys gas out quickly. But either guy could have lost that fight. Could have gone either way.
Eryk, what's your most confident play this week?
Most confident. I think my biggest bet this week is on Tabatha Ricci. I really like her money line. There were some other ones that I liked the money lines earlier, but a lot, things are a little out of hand now. But I think she stayed in a pretty good spot. I think she's still around like minus 125 or something like that. And yeah, I think I have 3 units on her at minus 125. Obviously there's the possibility of the sub there, but I mean, she's a pretty high level black belt herself. I think she's going to be able to stay out of trouble, and I'm hoping it's just going to be WrestleMania for 15 minutes.
We were talking about that fight before you got on. We're all both on Ricci as well.
Yeah, she looked really good, by the way, the scale.
Yeah, I like her.
She looked good, and she looked good. Both good.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been like a unit and a half or 2 units if we didn't add the simp tax to it. So yeah, I had to throw a little extra out there.
Pay the tax.
She looked really strong.
She was
her right bicep, because the way the angle was just like out there. And,
popping.
It was popping. I don't think that Polyana Viana with the rhyming first and last name, I don't believe that she gets the arm bar easily against that kind of an arm. That thick arm that's like shorter.
That's a good, thick, beefy bicep that will not break easily.
On the flip side, Polyana Viana is built like Chase Hooper and has those long,
got
thin
those
arms.
Spindly little limbs.
Yes.
That's true.
She went 3 straight
Very
fights.
barable.
Chase Hooper.
3 fights in a row where the fight ended in round 1 with an armbar finish. 1 time she lost, 2 times she won. I don't know about Viana. You know what I do like about Viana? Let me just go to bat for her on one thing. On her back, she's super busy, tons of elbows. She could win a round on her back. We've seen it happen recently, especially in women's fights. That's an X factor here to get to the scorecards where we get a round where maybe Tabatha Ricci gets the takedown, has top control, but you got Polyana on the back, just looking for submissions, throwing elbows. That's what she's good at, but that's about it. I think Tabatha Ricci wins the fight.
Yeah, I think she wins too. Yeah, it's a pretty good week for betting, I think. A couple lines I liked. I know you guys were saying you're not as high, Manuel, on who was it?
Almeida?
Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah, it's because 2 things. It's the money line at minus 200, where I think this should be priced more like a minus 150 to minus 140. Vince Morales has more than a chance to win this fight. Martinez, I don't think he's chinny. We can't say that yet, but he has been chin checked. He's that guy who has all the parameters to look like a potential contender, and he does look pretty good at times. But we've seen some dents in his game. And with Morales, who's a good wrestler, I believe a former state champion wrestler, he can make this ugly. and he's lost against good competition. He's held his own against good competition. So if you're looking for dogs in this card, I'm on Martinez to win. I'm not betting him to win the fight. The fight probably starts round 3 at minus 300, like that prop. And the fight went to decision at minus 195, I like that prop as well. But I think Vince Morales deserves a good look here.
What was the decision? Minus 195?
Yeah, it's a little
I like
a little
that.
chalky, but aren't these guys closely matched? Like the money line has them closely matched. Not a ton of finishing power in their hands.
I say go in decision.
And Martinez is a good striker, right? He's got good technique. We all agree the technique is better than Morales in the feet. Good punching power. He's going to out-volume Morales. He'll win the striking battle for sure in the feet. But will he knock out Morales? Like, will he leg kick Morales like Morales got kicked by Gutierrez? And I don't know. I don't see that. I see a close matchup for 3 rounds. I see Jonathan Martinez, again, not meeting his potential. So maybe winning the fight, right? But then it's close, and you're like, when is this guy going to, meet his potential? You know what I'm saying, Eryk? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and I agree that I like Martinez to win here. I think the money line is a little out of hand now. I'm looking at it minus 230 now. I think that's kind of crazy. And I was actually thinking about sprinkling Vince Morales by KO at plus 500.
I'm going to take a note of that.
I would just be putting little bit on that, but
that's not a bad problem. I like that because I think if he does win, that's how he wins.
That's kind of what I think too. And yeah, that's a decent number for that. I mean, especially if like you were saying, Manny, like if you line the fight a little bit closer than that and you think that that's his best path to victory, I think plus 500 is a pretty decent line on that. And we've seen Martinez get cracked, and Morales just won by knockout in his last. I'm not trying to get too narrative-y here, but he won by knockout in his last fight, and we've definitely seen that happen. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that fight?
I think
Kyle, what's your thoughts? I mean, you like Martinez too, right?
I like Martinez, yeah, and I'm pretty confident in him. I think that he's better stand up, like you said, and I've really liked what I saw with his takedown defense. I think he's able to keep it standing, and I think on the feet, Morales is a little bit of he throws power strikes, and that's about it. He's a little wild, and Martinez is too technical for him. He's going to box him up, piece him up a little bit. That's how I see that fight going.
He got knocked out by Davy Grant. That's, give a little pass there, I guess. Davy Grant is...
Yeah, Davy Grant's a stud.
Davy Grant hits hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's a tough guy.
He went through it in his last fight, though.
He did, dude. He did.
Yeah.
He really did.
And then he put him to sleep.
Did.
Holy crap.
I love betting on Davy Grant, by the way. I love betting on Davy Grant. He gives you your money's worth, whether he wins or loses.
I was nervous.
We didn't talk about.
Tired.
We didn't talk about this prop, but I got to
tired.
mention it before I forget. Is the Colares versus Hooper fight? Chase Hooper is plus 500 by submission.
Like Eryk was just saying,
throw your money in the trash.
Really.
That's $10 more I'll throw in the trash along with that.
Put it in your gas.
But
I
like that. I like that better than betting on Parker Porter by a lot.
Yeah.
Because if Hooper wins, it's
only going to be by
grabbing an ankle,
twisting your foot around.
His only way of winning.
Yeah,
I wish he could get even more specific with the sub.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he gets a choke. I think it's strictly ankle lock or bust.
Someone had a prop.
I agree. Felipe Colares is got to be on everyone's bet slip this weekend.
Yeah, right.
And I've seen far too many people on fucking Chase Hooper for.
A lot of people are.
A lot of people are dumb. By the way, there's a lot of people on Chase Hooper and Parker Porter, and I think people like to overthink things, because they're like, oh, first instinct is they're both going to get crushed, but what if they don't? I'll look like a genius.
Dude, I do that. I absolutely do that. Like I talk myself out of
the last thing the books will expect.
I got those books.
Parlay Chase Hooper and fucking Parker Porter.
I did parlay Mike Jackson and Chase Sherman for $1 American, and I got half. And when Mike Jackson won, I was like, I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
What was the number on that? $1 paid out what?
I think it was going to be like $150 or something like that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
150 to 1.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Oh,
I wanted to do it just so I could post the slip if it happened, like.
Right, exactly. I think my biggest long shot on this card that I think can actually happen is Duško by sub. It was plus 900.
Yeah.
That's a
really
spot.
good number for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes over here.
Like, I'll take that over Hooper at plus 500. I'd rather have Duško.
I'm looking at the
think I'd
money
rather
line
have
here
that
on
as well.
Hooper. Hooper probably should even be at plus 185. He probably should be a big underdog here, right? It's
Yeah, I think so. I would agree.
right.
Yeah.
He's kind of like getting a little bit of getting that hometown rub on the.
And Felipe Colares has fought good competition. Really good comp.
I mean, he does just enough. My bad, guys. I had a call coming in here, but I'm back. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Colares is being a little overlooked. When I first saw Chase Hooper's name come up on the card a few weeks ago, I immediately thought to fade him. Like I'm biased against him. And then I was like, as long as the guy he's fighting has a brain and 2 arms and 2 legs, he probably will lose the fight.
as long as the guy who's fighting has a fucking nasty eagle tat on his neck, I'm in.
I skipped the obvious Nick Newell joke there, as long as he has 2 arms and 2 legs. Sorry. I don't...
Oh, the pride of West Haven, Connecticut. Nick Newell.
Yeah.
Good dude. He's a beast.
Poor guy.
He's
He was a
he's
beast.
actually a really nice guy. I met him before. At when he's fighting in CES in the Hartford convention center, and there was the CES MMA was on the 2nd floor, and then there was East Hartford's prom on the 3rd floor. It was fucking hilarious.
There was just a CES. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying I was fucking hammered. Went upstairs, went up to the top floor. There was like a Sunday bar, just helping myself. Unattended Sunday bar. Went back downstairs, crushing ice cream and Modelo Especial, fucking 20 ounces. And then that was when John Gotti III was like the main event. And he absolutely destroyed someone. And then I ended up getting into the after party at some restaurant where the entire Gotti family just rented out a room and were just passing apps everywhere. Passing apps and fucking rum and colas.
And Nick Newell was in there?
Nick Newell was in there. He fought on the same card. And I kept trying to buy him a drink. And he had something in his hand. In his one hand, and he's like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "Let me get you another one."
Dude, that's a hell of a night.
Double fist, Nick. Come on.
Let me get you a second one.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, there was just a CES show in Fargo, North Dakota, which is where I'm from originally, and there was a TikTok or something that went kind of viral of John Jones riding in an Uber, and it's the moment, and the Uber driver was an immigrant from Africa, and it was the moment where the Uber driver figures out that it's John Jones in his car, and the guy is absolutely losing his mind, and it's Maurice Green who's sitting shotgun filming this, and the guy's just freaking out. He's like, John Jones, like just losing his mind about it. It's so awesome. He keeps looking in the rear view. Can't believe it, John Jones. Like,
oh man, he's lucky he made it out of that car alive.
Yeah.
One second,
Glad he's
guys. I'll
taking
be right
Ubers
back.
All right, yeah.
Glad old Bones
Eryk.
Jones is Eryk crushing nooners.
right.
Fucking noon
What do you think
noon
of
Cabernet.
Pereira Ponzinibbio?
I've gone back and forth on that one. I don't have a super strong lean one way or the other. Yeah, I haven't been able to settle on that one. Like it is. I think it's going to be fun, and I think like kind of what I keep coming to is that I think the best way to beat Michel Pereira is you have to keep him uncomfortable, right? I mean, you kind of have to.
Right.
You can't let him get into his game. You have to kind of stay in his face and cut off the cage, and I just just based on Ponzinibbio's more recent performances, I don't know if he's going to do that. So like, it's one of those spots where I think it's absolutely a winnable fight for Ponzinibbio. I think he can win. I just don't know if he's going to. You know what I mean? One of those spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a close fight. I don't really feel strongly either way on that one.
It's a fight for me where I struggle because I want to root for Ponzinibbio, but I think Michel Pereira is going to win.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I hate when that happens because I don't like to root for somebody that I didn't bet on, but I think Pereira, I think he might win this fight with wrestling, which sucks, but I think he might. He's been talking, besides the DUI incident, he's been talking about, he wants to get a title shot. So I didn't even know he was that serious about, wanting a title aspirations, but apparently he does. So I think he knows he could win this fight with wrestling, and I think he might choose that path.
So he's actually going to try to, for the first time, he's actually going to try to win the fight rather than just try to be entertaining kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Dude,
I think so.
Just so fun to watch. So fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
But if you're betting on him, oh, dude, you're just like, what? The backflip on Nico Price to fall. I can go on and on about this guy. I mean, he's a highlight reel. It's
Oh yeah.
and he's a round
Athletic freak.
Yeah, he's a round one, like dominates round one in terms of avoiding punches, avoiding dangerous exchanges, right? Light in the feet. Terrible finish though. Like round 3 is not a good round for him. Tends to be slower. If he's ahead of the scorecards, he tends to not engage. He's going to lose a fight at some point here in the near future where he's not up 2-0. And he tries to, because I'm gonna put it out there point blank. He's a very good talent, but he doesn't really want to mix it up with anybody. Okay? He'll jump in your face with a knee, and he'll come in and crazy shit and all the stuff. Jump off the cage. It's all highlight reel stuff. But he's not going to stand and bang with somebody. That's just not how he's built. And if he stands with a guy who forces him against the cage, neutralizes him a little bit, he'll have a problem. Not in this fight, though. I think Ponzinibbio's best days are behind him. I think he's going to be too athletic for him. But in the future, there are some limitations for the way he fights. And
But I tell you what, Ponz is that tough guy. He will get in your face, And he showed against Jeff Neal that maybe he's not done. Maybe his chin isn't complete garbage, and he could still scrap.
And the injuries, right? So he had some injuries a while ago, so like 2 years or 3 years ago, hospitalized, whatever.
Yeah.
But now has had the full cycle of having a fight, recovering, getting a full camp. Maybe he's the best he's been in the last 4 or 5 years right now.
Yeah. And like you're saying, if it sounds like you're saying, let me not get this wrong, but you think Pereira could break?
Oh,
He can definitely break.
Yeah. And that's a good way of putting it. Exactly. So, every fighter has a breaking point, but it's like he doesn't want to engage that much. His path to victory is on a scorecards, and that becomes troublesome, you see, and he's a points fighter. A lot of that flash, it will help you to get the audience behind you, but most of it doesn't land anyway. Maybe he gets into a bad position, gets wrestled, gives up his back, He's always going to be game for that kind of shit, just the way he fights.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun as fuck.
It is. And, he was getting pieced up on the feet against Filo his last fight. But Filo could not wrestle at all. And so he took him down a bunch of times and won that way.
Yep. And Fialo, I think, is got a better, he's got a higher ceiling than
if he could learn how to defend takedowns and, do something on the ground. So everyone's strategy is not just take him down immediately. Yep. Who the fuck? Mark Dykes versus who's the kickboxer he just fought?
Oh, the Russian kickboxer.
Yeah.
Slava Klaus.
There you go.
Dude, fucked me over that night, dude. That's burned in my head. Oh my God. But Mark Dick, you're right. Took the wrestling approach. Great game plan. Neutralized everything.
It was. That guy Slav is a problem on the feet, though, for anybody.
He's an amazing striker. He knows how to deliver that liver shot. He's like a surgeon with that. I was all over it. I'm like, he's going to do a liver shot. He's going to win the fight.
Love the liver target.
Big sexy looks good in the scale, Mr. Porter.
Are they back to weigh-ins
right now?
Yeah, he just weighed in. He looked like Parker Porter. He looked good.
What was his weight?
I didn't even hear it. I have it muted over here on my side. Didn't seem to be a problem.
No,
he looked 265.
Oh, these ads. Fucking pillow cube.
I want to know how much Almeida's going to weigh. I really want to know how much
we're back.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting how much.
Oh, there's old Porker.
There's old Parker.
Over under 20 pounds. Over under 220. What do you think, guys?
He looks slim.
He does actually look a little slim, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, not Porter, but he does look slim. I meant Almeida.
Yeah.
Is he going to be over under 220? What do you guys think?
The line is dropping.
Over.
I think he'll be over.
I think he'll be over 220. But maybe under 230. It's going to be close.
Man, I don't know at what point do I go
227.
I like it. I'm going 223.
If he comes in around the mid 220s, then yeah, he's going to be fine. The weight won't be that big of a deal.
240.
That's
God,
fucking man right there, just grown ass man. Yeah, I fear he comes in at like 215, guys. You heard it here first. He comes in at like 215. He's just simply not a heavyweight, and then the line's going to move tonight. I'm calling it. He's going to come in at 215.
I hope it does move because I'm ready.
That dude is
ready to pound Almeida.
Russian gum. That was so distracting. Yeah, I could also see Almeida just being spindly, like just still being shredded.
I mean, if he's athletic enough, then over the course of 3 rounds, that'll win the day either way. Or I shouldn't say 3 rounds. It probably does not go 3 rounds. I don't know why I keep saying 3 rounds. It's going to be over in a round or 2.
Probably.
What's the prop on Porter by knockout?
I'm sure it's very high.
I don't know. Might be less than the decision if it was decision was 1,600?
I think it was actually like plus 900. And submission is 2,000, decision 1,100. So I feel like if you're gonna lay the plus 450 or take the plus 450 on Parker Porter, you might as well take him plus 1,100 by decision or knockout.
900. I'm not taking any of those.
No.
That's a tough fight. You're probably better. You're probably best off. I'm not going to do it, but you're probably best off just parlaying Almeida into 1 or 2 parlays on the money line. It's probably the best spot. Everything else is going to be just kind of guessing. How does he finish him? Is it round 1, 2?
Who do we think the parlay killer is going to be this week? So last week it was Nick Maximov. Biggest favorite on the card, loses in the first round.
He didn't get us though. We were all over.
No, we were all over.
On
but
that.
the casual parlay killer. Let's see. We gotta find someone who's over minus 200.
I'm going with 2 parlay killers: Joseph Holmes and
Chidi. Chidi was my guess. Duško is a very live dog.
Douche.
And just because those fights, I think they're low level, both of them.
Yeah.
Damn, Chidi's at minus 260 now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
That's just getting insane.
Yeah, it's too much.
I did put him in a parlay, but I think he was at like minus 180 or something.
Yes.
Oh Jesus! So you got in early.
Yeah.
I think Duško's that bad though, guys. I think he's that bad.
I don't know if Chidi's that good.
He's not. He's not. Duško's just that bad. I mean, look, Duško's young, 28. But
is he still only 28 years old?
He's 28.
Jeez.
So 11
94.
and 2.
Oh, his birthday is yesterday.
So he's 29 now? He's 28
No,
now.
he just turned 28.
Yeah, he's a baby. My concerns are what we talked about earlier. It's the striking defense. It's just not good. Survival skills are not good. If he gets cracked, he doesn't try to survive. He tries to punch back. It's like, oh no.
True.
The ones I think are the ones that might be parlay killers on this card for me. I agree with
Chase Hooper.
He's a dog, right? He's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog.
Yes.
Parlay killer.
Right. I think Chidi's a really good call. I think that's going to be one that might mess some people up. Trying to think of ones that are bigger favorites, though. I agree with Holmes as well. I think Jonathan Martinez. That's the one that I would highlight. I think Martinez has the chance.
Jonathan Martinez.
Especially the casuals who see like a minus 200-ish and think, oh, plug that into my parlay.
Safe.
I should be safe.
Easy.
And then you got yourself a split decision and you're sweating it. And, yeah, that's the one I think that might be a killer for some people.
You got Eryk.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with the same things you guys are saying. Like, even though I have Chidi in a parlay, I think that there's a decent chance that he ends up being the parlay killer. And I think Martinez is a good call as well. Yeah.
Have you guys messed with Prediction Strike at all?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's actually pretty sick.
It's the you buy stock in athletes. It's not just MMA, but I've been using it for just MMA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's where we have a
But
significant
listen to
edge.
this. So it's literally like stocks, like Jailton Almeida is $1.59 a share. So you could buy Jailton Almeida stock at $1.59, and then based off
How he does.
popularity and how he does in the fight, his stock, goes up or down. The interesting thing, and this is a brand new app. The interesting thing that I've learned this week is I bought Jailton Almeida early last week, and he was $1.50. But because of the hype, he went up 9 cents. So every week, can you just buy the hype? Just buy the hyped guy every week and just make money, and then dump right before the fight, and you just constantly make money.
Just up 5% every week.
That's a good
I
call.
have so many questions about this. I saw you wrote something about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously didn't read it, no, I'm so interested because that's a great angle. What you just said, it's a really good angle.
Right. Like, you don't even have to gamble your money. You just buy the
gamble on
hype
stocks.
fighter. Like, you just read the headlines. Who's in the headlines, like, huge favorite. Buy them early. Their stock goes up as people are interested in the fight week, and then you dump prior to the fight.
Like, even for example, Romanov, right? That would be a good example, right? So if you took Romanov before the first of those two fights, right? So he was supposed to face Chase Sherman, whatever, a few weeks ago, and you take him at that time. Over the course of those few weeks, more and more casuals get to know who the Romanov guy is,
Right.
and then you dump it.
Yeah, they watch they watch him beat the shit out of Jason Bandera. And then they're like, "Oh my god."
Or even if you look at so UFC 275 is on June 11th, right? So I'm sure Jiri's stock right now is probably decently high.
I'll tell you right now, I got the app up.
Okay.
I need full details on this, by the way, Kyle. You may not have the time on the show here, but I'm going to be picking your brain. I love this.
So Jiri is $4.80.
Yep.
He's $4.80 a share. But if you were to buy that now, my guess is
It'll be higher by the
between now and June 11th.
It'll go up.
It'll probably go up close to $5.
Yeah.
And then I don't think he actually beats Glover, so I would dump his shares prior to the fight.
Just to be careful.
And make a quick 10 cents a share. So it's depending how much money you put in, it adds up. And if you just kept doing this over and over again every week, you'd eventually have,
I mean, even if you just did the long game with a few guys that you feel good about, like
So that's
young
what-
prospects, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to really delve into this and maybe start making content on how I think we can make money on this. And like you said, like I'm going to have maybe 10 prospects, and we'll call those, our big money makers. So like Jailton Almeida's one, Chow Baralho would be one. And then we could just, look like Kamzat would be one. Just look through all them, like big prospects.
This might be exhausting,
and
Kyle.
Put money into them.
But what
Yeah.
if you did a show or a concept where you basically were sharing who you're investing in, right? So somehow like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah. So that would be the idea. And then I would have that, and those are our prospects. Then you could have literally like stocks. You could have your blue chips, like an Alexander Volkanovski, blue chip stock.
Right, for sure.
Like he's nasty. Even though he's fighting Max, I don't think he's going anywhere. You'll have your blue chips, and then you have your week to week, like your day trading, like
Love it.
like I was just saying, like you buy the
dip.
But
Oh.
well, yeah, but buy the
Oh,
hype.
yeah, right,
You buy
right,
the
right.
hype and then dump
right.
it.
Buy the rumor, sell the news. It's like buy the hype, sell
Yeah,
the
you
fight.
buy the hype and sell right before the fight.
I mean, it's so
and
this fan base is so like cyclical. So it makes perfect sense. People forget about most of these fighters when they're not fighting, right? So it's like
Right.
they're tone deaf.
well, and then here, listen to this. I wrote this in the article as well. But if you go to basketball right now, okay, and you find
Jokic.
who's the top basketball guy?
Nikola Jokic.
The Joker won MVP, so he's up there.
Yeah. $62.
Okay. So he's $62
A share, right?
A share. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, because it's not football season,
26.
is only $26 a share.
Ah, so yeah, again, that's a great point.
I think we might be so early that like nobody's thinking of buying Josh Allen right now because it's not football season.
He might
They're
win
all
MVP.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're all buying Jokic right now. So is Josh Allen's stock possibly going to go up $40
Could be.
by football season, especially if he has an MVP season? I mean, I think that's possible.
I have so many questions. Like, for example, how would an injury affect the stock, Kyle?
Probably
Do you have any
plummet.
experience with that?
Negatively.
Yeah, poorly.
Negatively.
Poorly.
I mean, 100%. My biggest question, because I think this is an easy cash grab for us, like people who follow sports, especially like, we're MMA guys. We have a huge edge in MMA. My biggest question was, what happens to our money if the prediction strike people go out of business or decide they don't want to run this anymore? So I was a little concerned with that. So I was like, screw it, I'll just ask them. And I sent them a DM, asked them, like, hey, what happens if you guys go out of business?
They're like, fuck
They responded they responded within like 30 seconds. And we're like, hey, great question.
You jerk.
And they were like, we did everything, to prepare for that. Money that you guys put in is in a separate account, and if we go out of business, your money's secure, and you would still get it.
Right answer.
Yeah.
Almeida's on the scale.
So
There he goes.
I want to see the weight.
There we go.
What is he going to weigh? He does not look like he's 240, guys.
No,
Eric's
no,
Look
he
at
got-
those
doesn't.
fucking traps, man.
Eric's got 227. I got 223.
I got 215.
Keep those pants on. Keep them on. Get that number higher. Keep the chain.
Oh, he wasn't ready.
Put those shoes back on, boy. $230.
224.
Look at
Eryk,
that.
good call, dude.
Jailton Almeida.
He looks ripped for 224.
Kyle was even closer than I was.
Oh, he was? Kyle, what do you have,
Pound.
Kyle?
223.
Oh, jeez. Okay, my bad. All right, so he clears the weight.
He looks good.
He looks
Yeah.
he looks good. He looks
Not
solid.
worried about that.
224. What did Porter come in at? We don't even know, right? We don't even know what Porter weight was.
Nah, I could look it up right now.
I saw on Twitter that he was 265, but I thought that he did look slimmer. But somebody on Twitter,
he did.
Yeah, I don't know.
265.
That's
correct.
That's when you know you're the big boy. When someone said you look slim.
Yeah.
265.
So all we have left to weigh in now is Uroš and Amedovski, who are the two biggest question marks coming into this weigh-in. Especially Amedovski, who hasn't fought in a long time.
Yeah.
Amedovski puts a bad name on these Macedonian guys, man. you see the name Amedovski, you're thinking quasi-Russian lineage there, and just sucks, man. Just not good.
Isn't he Italian or from Italy?
Maybe you're confusing him with Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio is Italian, but born in Argentina. I think that Amedovski.
Alen Amedovski, I think, spent time in Italy at least.
Oh, is he the one who trains at the Italy Rome ATT spot? You might be right. Hold on, I might be off on that. Amedovski. He does train in Rome, in Italy. You're correct. He does have some roots in Italy.
Yeah.
But I believe he was born in Macedonia.
Yeah, he's definitely Russian.
He's got some kind of Russian. But he doesn't
Amedovski.
fight like a Russian.
Macedonia, I think, is over by Greece.
He just fights wild is what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he know what he also does, which to me it's a glaring issue. He fights like squared up, like black and white old style boxing guys who don't do anything but just he does this. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? 1940s boxing? Like what's going on here? And he gets clipped. He gets cracked. Just
Well, he did fight White Tyson. So.
He did, and he tried to trade with him. He tried
not
to
for very long.
He
didn't.
Yeah,
right. Not for long.
And he gets clipped. I mean, 2 times for sure. The third time was he's on the ground, but he gets clipped multiple times in 17 seconds. It was like not the first time he didn't get it. No, not the second time. No. Like the white Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of. I feel like that's why that matchup with Joseph Holmes. You hear the narratives about how the UFC wants this guy to win or a good setup fight. This is a good fight for Joseph Holmes after coming up short against a veteran, Jamie Pickett. UFC is doing him a favor here, giving him a guy who basically wasn't fighting in the last 3 years. And yeah, I mean, Joseph Holmes should win the fight. If he doesn't win this fight, by the way, I don't know what to say, man. He's got 8 years youth advantage. He's at Glory MMA Fitness with Coach Krause. He should win the fight.
Listen to this fight just announced. Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain.
Ooh.
That's a lot of fun.
Air Jourdain, yeah.
Shane Burgos, I'll just never forget him trying to shake off being knocked out. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
I like some of the female fights a lot on this card. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, it's women's MMA." I actually have a lot of confidence in Holly Holm and Tabatha Ricci on the main card. Like them a whole lot.
Oh, yeah,
me too.
I think I might add Ricci to the card officially after seeing the weigh-ins.
And I like Sam Hughes. I mean, I'm not shitting on Elise Reed, but if you're looking for dogs, it's going to go to the scorecards, right? So at least you got that going for you. Maybe you got a blind judge.
Yeah.
You fight the Sam Hughes either way. That's a true pick'em right there. That's a close fight. But I like the women on this fight card. I feel like there's a lot of reasons to like Holly Holm in the main event. And I think Tabatha Ricci is very fairly priced. At minus 120, that's almost a steal. I think Polyana Viana is a tad bit overrated. She's pretty though.
Yeah, I think that's the best. That's the best money line on the whole card. I think that Tabatha Ricci at like minus 125.
I'm going to load up on a little more after hearing your confidence. I have confidence in her too. I'll feel better when the fight's over. Put it that way. I'll feel better when like Ricci gets the win and she's stronger in the clinch, and there's no tomfoolery. Yeah.
I was also really confident in Gina Mazzani in her last fight, so tread carefully.
Jesus. Yeah, dude.
I was too, actually. So.
I think I actually picked her as my most confident moneyline pick on the card, if I remember correctly. So
we were all over.
Had
Gina
to walk
Mazzani
that one
as
back.
well. That was just brutal.
Sometimes we're just off. I actually was on the other side of that fight with Gina Mazzani. I faded her strong in that fight, and I came out looking good. But that's just one fight. That's just one fight. There's a whole lot of others where it went the other way. Yeah, I think Gina Mazzani didn't she just exactly repeat what everyone was concerned about in that fight, gassing out and like not being able to fight
quits.
and just
she quits.
She does quit.
Yeah, I mean she's got her
Good
energy.
hammer, bad name.
Yeah, exactly. Just awful. I think Viana goes to her back here like she always does, chasing submissions over position, and it just becomes a recipe for disaster for her in the scorecard, and Tabatha just eats her up for 3 rounds on the ground. And
I agree.
Afterwards, it'll look like a good bet afterwards. We're like, oh, that was a great bet. Like, well, then load up on it like my man over here is doing, like Eryk's doing. Put your money where your mouth is, right?
Sounds like it's going to be a good night for all of us if that's how it plays out. Yeah.
So, are you guys going to be watching EFC at all later today?
Yeah, I plan to.
Yeah, I'll probably have it on. I got the house to myself.
Yeah.
Girls out.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to catch that. I caught a little bit of the One Championships this morning, and I like One Championships. I just can't get around to covering it. I just don't have the time. But they had some action going on over there in the Far East.
See, A-Rod bought stock in PFL.
What?
A-Rod.
Wow.
He's like on some kind of board for them or something, isn't he?
They've got like
That's what I read.
Sure
Yeah,
is.
they got Wiz Khalifa involved. They got some personalities involved over there.
A-Rod bringing the steroids to PFL.
Yeah, I was gonna say, liven it up a little bit.
Listen,
He's gonna
Get
be
rid
like,
of the drug
You know how you
testing.
did that tape delay? Let's do that again.
bro, you just brought up.
This is all way too far above board for me. Let's sketch it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Skis it up.
We need to bring in A-Rod, right? We're not sketchy enough. We got to bring in.
Who's taking a dive this week?
Listen, I don't know how. That's how I met Kyle through the whole PFL scandal. It will bother me to the end of time that situation was really not quite uncovered. And then it was so convenient that ESPN announced just a few weeks ago a partnership with the PFL for a multi-year deal to have their PFL shit on ESPN. And I'm like, wait a second, like we never got to the bottom of what happened. Like there's still like news that was just swept under the carpet about all that stuff that happened. And so I feel like it never was really investigated. And I guess there was a stop to put to some things and some checks were written, but that shit was shady, dude. And I'm gonna go to my grave with that. That a lot of people were involved with that stuff, and I never got the full explanation. Put it that way.
Yeah, I just don't like how the books aren't responsible for lines that they put out.
Yeah.
Like if we, the small little guy, are finding out about this, how do the books not know?
Yeah.
Well, they definitely,
I feel like
they definitely do know.
They had to know. I feel like they had to know, and they wanted to take our money, and they found a win-win. They were like, "Oh, if they lose the bet, we'll just be like, oh, they lost."
Especially when it was closing into the fight time, or the supposed fight time, when the numbers went flying in the direction of the favorites.
Right.
It was like, wait a second, now
they still had the lines,
and you're still offering these lines. Like that's
right.
You're basically tricking people into taking the dogs. They're like, oh, these are huge dogs. I might as well put a sprinkle over here. When none of them had a chance to win because you already knew the results.
On extreme low level.
Yes.
Those favorites were not locks, and watching the fights, they were not locks.
Right.
A bunch of them almost lost.
Exactly. So it was fraud. I mean, it was fraud. That's the bottom line. And but a few
We got to see the true colors of some of the people in the MMA space.
We really did actually. And I mean, I got no problem with burning a bridge every now and then. If people want to get funny, I will be straight up with them and address it with respect. But I will be direct. And in that moment, I saw some slime balls. I saw some people really show their colors.
Eryk, did you see that whole thing?
You're talking about when the event had already happened and the bets were still
pre-recording,
available.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton of the specifics, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. That it was like tape delayed, and they were acting like it was live or whatever. Yeah,
I think it was recorded beforehand, and then they were it was like totally pre-recorded.
Yeah. So right. I tweeted out that day. I tweeted out, well, this looks tape recorded as the fights were going on, and I got people jumping in my DMs, being like, "Yo, chill the fuck out, stop saying that," and I was like, why? I can say whatever I want.
Right.
And then they were like, just chill. And then it went afterwards where it was like, this shit definitely was tape delayed. And I was blowing it up because I had won a bunch of money that day and that I was not getting paid out for it. So I was blowing it up on Twitter, and I had people in my DMs saying, dude, please be quiet about this. And I was trying to explain to every single one, like, how do you think I know this?
Yeah.
I read it on the internet. It's out
right.
there. Do you know how the internet works? It's still there.
Right.
What are you talking about? And they're like, no, dude, trust me, your tweets are affecting me. I was if you think that.
I was so confused,
lost,
Kyle. I was like, I had to keep like rubbing my eyes. I'm like, I don't get the concept of telling people like you or me to keep quiet about something that's now completely public knowledge. It's everywhere for everyone.
That's what I was saying. That was like my whole point. I was like, bro, first off, you're saying I shouldn't say anything because you have a sketchy bet that you went that you might actually have prior knowledge of, when me and the common man aren't getting paid out. And we did things the right way. So I'm fighting for them.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for the people who did it the right way, not for your stupid scummy ass.
Yes.
So,
and you had people coming in trying to, in essence, defend the books, keep it super quiet. And I'm like, when did gamblers, casual or professional, or anybody in this space start defending the damn books?
Right. I know.
I was like, I had people DMing me who'd never DM'd me before. I know of them.
No, some of them were big names. Worked for like CBS.
Yes, and it was odd. It was like, are you guys all?
And
on the
that
take?
was a call out.
Like, come on, man. Like, it was. Interesting, Kyle. Yeah, you were mentioning the interview. You were in the interview on ESPN.
They did interview me on ESPN.
That was dope.
Damn. Yeah, I remember following those tweets now that you mentioned it. I didn't remember that it was you. I couldn't remember who it was, but yeah, I do remember seeing these tweets about, because you were tweeting about how they were messaging you, right? And that you were like, what the hell? Yeah, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah.
The woman called while we were recording like this.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Kyle was just holding the phone up to the mic without her. We were just recording her without her knowledge. Classic.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, we never ended up posting it though.
So how on earth would they think that once it's gotten to that point that there's any way to put a lid on it? You know, it's ridiculous.
And there was more to the story, because I just happened to have interviewed Alexei. What's his last name? Jeez, I can't remember his name. I did an interview with Alexei, who was on that card, and
that was perfect.
And I kind of knew things were going on, but I didn't ask him in an interview. I kept things, above board. I didn't want to put him on the spot. You know what I mean? But then we had a lot of dialogue offline, and we talked a lot about things, and he shared a lot of information with me. And it was so much more sketchy than you realize, Eryk. For example, there were fans in attendance. So imagine this scenario. There were people there. And by Alexei's description, some of them were like shady characters, like literally shady, like mafia type of dudes in black coats, chilling out, watching the fight, that were fans. Some of the fans were actually family members. Like, for example, Alexei's mom was there. She was watching. She and I had an exchange. We talked about the fight, and she said to me that she was confused as to why the bets were still available the following week, because they were already there. They saw the fight. It already happened. So there was so much shit had happened. And if you looked at the ESPN article that Kyle was in, they mentioned something about how there was no fans in attendance. That's not true. There were fans there. There were about 25 fans there, and Alexei sent me a video clip of a different angle that was not aired, where he's walking to the cage, and you see the fans. You see them out there next to the cage, recording him. People had their cell phones out. All those people then had privy to what happened. They could have all bet in the fight. They all knew. And Alexei told me that they all signed non-disclosure agreements. Fuck those non-disclosure agreements. Are you serious?
Right.
You had Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was on a broadcast as a special guest, right? From some Atlanta hotel, whatever the case would be. Like, there was so many ways this could have leaked out. There was so many people could have found out about it.
But we talked about that. Was Todd Gurley in on it, or did they run it live? Well, live, and then have Todd Gurley watching the pre-recorded thing as live, not even knowing? Because that's very possible too.
I mean, they did.
It's just crazy.
They did a weigh-in the day before as it was live, and it wasn't. That was a week.
Yeah.
They broadcasted a weigh-in the day before as if it was a live weigh-in. And it was a week before. Yeah, the whole thing was
They-
just, dude,
Yeah.
That's
shady,
insane.
shady. Yeah,
I have.
I just think. Go ahead, Eryk.
Oh no, you go first because mine's going to take a second.
I was just saying. I just think books should be responsible for lines they put out because they knew. They can't say they didn't know.
They had to have known.
They knew.
Yeah.
They knew, and they were trying to trick everyone. Where I think they probably only refunded people who requested it. You know,
Probably
on a
only
loss.
people who won money.
Well, no one who won money got the money. And then everyone who lost money probably only got the money back if they were smart enough to request it.
yeah.
So I'm thinking they just pocketed money on that. That's my little man of the library talk.
I bet you're right. No, I was going to say I'll tell the short version, but I have a quick PFL story.
Oh yeah.
I went to a live PFL event in, I think, 2019 when they did their playoffs or finals or whatever in Vegas. And I went to one of the shows at Mandalay Bay, and I went through security and everything, and, walk in with my ticket on my phone. And one of the security people is like, I'm like showing my phone so she can show me where my seat is or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, you're VIP. You need to go back to the VIP check-in." And I'm like, okay. So there's a separate check-in, and I go to this line for the VIP check-in. And while I'm standing there, a different woman walks up to me and was like, "Oh, sir, are you picking up your VIP credentials?" And I was like, "Yes." And she grabs me and walks me to the front of the line and like leans over to this woman. She's like, "Excuse me, this man is picking up his VIP credentials." And she gives me a lanyard and like a t-shirt and some like swag and stuff. And then I go back to the security line and somebody's like, "Oh, sir, you can come through." They like, let me skip the security line. And then
Come into the locker room, sir.
Yeah. Well, it's almost getting to that. And then I start walking to my seat, and the same woman who was going to show me, who told me to go back to the VIP thing, she's like, "Oh, you need to follow." There was like these footstep stickers on the floor. She's like, "You need to follow those." So I follow these footsteps, and now I'm like in like, backstage, like behind the scenes kind of stuff. And I'm taking an elevator that is like an elevator for the employees and athletes and stuff like that. And then I go down to the bottom level, and it opens up, and I'm like in the like backstage kind of stuff. Like the bathroom that I'm using is the bathroom that the athletes are using and stuff. And I'm like, I have no idea why I'm down here. And then I walk into the arena, and there's a little like cordoned off area that's like the VIP area. And I just kind of walk up to a table, and it's like standing tables, so I'm just like leaning on this table, looking around, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. There's spreads of food out. There's a bar right there and stuff. And I'm like, I like went and helped myself to some food. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to get a drink. And I go and order a drink, and I've got a 20 in my hand because I don't know if it's free or what's going on exactly. And I'm kind of like holding the money, and the woman never really like,
"Here you are, sir. It's
so
on
I'm
the
just
house."
like, okay, I guess this is free. So yeah, I somehow ended up a VIP with free food and free drinks and stuff. And like Frank Mir was there, and Anthony Pettis was there. Like a bunch of fighters were in the VIP area. And then the dude who plays Dr. Cox on Scrubs was there in the VIP area.
What the hell?
Foxy.
And Mike Tyson walked by at one point. Like it was this whole weird thing, and I have no idea why.
Are you sure
I
you
ended
weren't
up
tripping?
being VIP or why I got put in there?
Did you have some shrooms that day? Are you tripping, dude?
I have photos and everything. It was so like I was really hoping they were going to come do their finals here again, because I was like, I'm going to take my chance. Maybe I'll end up being VIP again. It was so
They'll
cool.
remember you.
Yeah. Oh, sir. Oh, Eryk.
Yeah, Eryk,
And
Mr.
they,
VIP.
And a buddy of mine was watching on TV, and I was texting with him, and all of a sudden he sends me a text. He's like, "Hey, is this you?" Because I was like so close up by like they showed one of the fighters, and you could see me right behind the fighter because I was like right up against the like the security thing or whatever, like maybe like 10 feet from the cage or something, and there I was.
Jesus,
yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. No idea.
So what we take from this story is that the PFL is not crossing all their T's and dotting their I's.
Right for
It seems that
exploitation.
way. Yeah. Yep.
Easily exploitable.
Yes.
I paid for a $30 ticket and got escorted into VIP for some reason. So yeah. I
Right.
I'm just wondering what the magic words were. Like, what did you say? Like, just you gave him a vibe. You must have come in there looking like VIP. I don't know what it must have been.
So let me talk to someone who knows who I am. Get out of my way, peasant. So,
and this was several years before I could even drop the "I'm a YouTuber," like.
yeah.
Right.
Excuse me, do you know who I am? I have nearly 200 subscribers.
Oh, right this way, sir.
Right, come with me.
You must not
Come to the press box.
190s.
So we got A-Rod now. You were saying, huh, Kyle? He's the
A-Rod.
He's invested, huh? Interesting.
He is.
I mean, I don't know how their revenue.
J-Lo and picked up the PFL.
I don't know how the revenue works for PFL because they don't have. Well, they do have it, but they don't have ticket sales as really their part of their main thing, right? Because they're more of like a closed little thingamajigger. So I don't know how they make the money. I guess it's from the TV contract with ESPN and some investors.
It's through the pre-recording of fights. Through scamming the books.
Yeah, I mean, what in the world? Who would ever think in 2022 that you're going to try to pull that shit off?
Right? Yeah, insane.
And to think that, I feel like my lasting impression is that a lot more people knew about it and were okay with it than didn't, because you can't have all these people involved and it go that far to the point where the fights are being broadcast, and then as it's going on, people are like, "Is this live or not live?" The books are like, a lot of shit had to happen before that, dude. Like,
yeah, I'd say it was really weird.
Thirsty move by the PFL. A little thirsty.
With that said, I like the PFL.
I do. No,
I like the tournament schedule. It's really cool.
Yes, I'm a degenerate anyway, so I like as much mixed martial arts as possible. I don't care what it is. I mean, heck, I follow Invicta. What fucking dude watches female mixed martial arts as hardcore as I do? So,
right.
I got the interview, by the way. You saw that? I put that up with
Yeah.
Parisian. She can barely speak English, but she's sweet.
Listen, guys, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
My dog's starting to act up.
Same.
All right, Kyle.
All right,
boys.
Hop out.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
We'll
Good
call
luck
it.
this weekend.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Later, boys.
Good luck, guys.